Hi there. Hi. How are you today? I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. Welcome back to my channel, The Big Sister Talk with Cups. And here we are. Thank you for taking your time to stop by. So, the topic today that I want to talk about is be you or be yourself, depending on how you understand it. So when I say be you or be yourself, all I'm trying to say to you is that do not allow yourself to be recruited into hating someone just because a friend or a relative don't like that person. So this can also relate to your partner if you are married or in a relationship. Do not hate a person just because your partner says they don't like the person. And that's what I want us to talk about today. So when I said that, I'm trying to say to you, it does not mean that all your friends should be your friends. Equally, all your friends' enemies shouldn't be your enemies as well. Does it make sense? It's balancing, eh? So by so saying, I'm trying to say to you, be an individual, be a person of your own. So hence the topic to say, be yourself. So in the fact that I'm saying your friends' enemies shouldn't be your friends, don't allow yourself to fall into the trap of Ntloise, directly translated from Setswana, meaning help me hate. You know, if I'm not getting along with someone and I'm your friend, that doesn't mean you have to maybe hate that person, help me hate that person just because. I believe in giving a person benefit of doubt, we can call it that. So you shouldn't be a victim, because if you're falling into that trap of hating just because somebody is hating, I think you are becoming a victim. You are allowing yourself to be a victim. So, you know, what people say, learn to say to yourself, what people say about other people says a lot about that particular person. Because guess what? If a person is able to come to you and say, so and so does that, don't you think they are able to talk about you as well? I think they are. I think they are. So, as I say, run away. Don't allow yourself to fall into that victim. Into that trap and become a victim. It is called character assassination. Character assassination is a very pervasive and destructive thing, you know, if it were to happen to anyone. And it can be found everywhere. And when I say everywhere, it can be in a workplace, can be in any organization, it can even be in church, it can be amongst friends or acquaintances. You know, people just, it's something that just happens. People just find themselves, if they happen to not have anything to talk about, they find themselves talking about people. And the minute a person starts talking about another person, unnecessarily so, I think that is what might just give birth to assassinating their character, because perhaps it's unnecessary. As I say, it's unnecessary to be talking about that person. There's nothing that is leading you to say, by the way, this is what happened yesterday. You're just trying to say, what can I say? And you find something negative and unnecessary to say about a person. And that's where the term character assassination is derived from. As I've already said, it's very destructive. So it's a person that is trying to distract another person. So I have an example that I always say, like if we are friends, say the three of us, you so it will be it's always a question of, there is a common denominator. So if it's three people, it's me, it's the other person, and we share this friend. If, oh no, let me be the middle person. So I have two friends, they are both my friends. we all don't share the same things. I go to church with this one, I go to a party with that one. Do you realize that these two people perhaps might not have anything to talk about apart from me? That is the only thing that makes them come together. I'm just making an example. So as an individual, I don't like hearing two of my friends telling me that they were together somewhere. I wouldn't like that. I mean, it's not something that is happening all the time, but I wouldn't like hearing it. Equally, I wouldn't want to find myself in a situation where maybe somebody calls me and says, "Hey, by the way, I was in your area, so can we grab a coffee?" And when I'm thinking about it, by the way, I know her, yes, but I know her through a friend who is not here who's not going to be at the coffee drinking session. What are we going to talk about? So the first question that I always ask is, what are we going to talk about? Think about it. Chances of us not having something to talk about and ending up talking about our friend are very high. And then to avoid talking about people, because in most cases it might lead to talking negatively about a person, don't go. Just excuse yourself and say, I'm not around, I'm busy, I already had a plan, something. Because why would you want to go hang out with a friend of your friend? So that is the why I'm saying a friend of your friend does not necessarily have to be your friend. And this also goes for relationships, marriages even. If I have a spouse and he goes to a party, I think it's allowed for him to be able to go alone with his guys. Equally, if I want to go with my lady friends someday, I don't expect my partner to always be there. First of all, it would be unfair for him. It would be unfair for even the people that I'm with. And it doesn't matter, even if a friend brings the husband along, it doesn't mean our husbands are supposed to be friends. Do you understand? Because this is where now the character assassination will come into play, because at the end of the day people end up not knowing what they want to talk about. So mostly the people who have the character assassination um, mentality, we call them that they have PhDs. A pull him down, pull him or her down mentality, because the person will be talking bad about a friend, hoping to win you over. You understand, Dane? They want to win you over to take the friendship role. They want to win you over to take the spouse role. They want to just see your relationship broken. So hence I'm saying, rather avoid, don't go to such, invites. If you happen to find yourself being invited to say, let's grab a coffee, just ask, do you really have to go with me? And or you don't even have to ask, just say, I'm not around, I'm busy, I'm not feeling well. You are allowed to lie. It's a white lie. Sometimes just say, you know what, not today, not today. So I always share with people the 4 don'ts that you need to practice. Somehow I've come to a point where I've mastered doing those things, where if I find myself invited to such a I'm trying to sit up here, to such an event. It's not even a do, it's just a, by the way, I was in your area, so let's grab a coffee. And I always say the 4 things that I want you to always remember or practice in your life. 1, do not conclude about people because of what others say about them. Ne? Don't conclude and say, I hate so and so. Because we might ask why, and you end up not having an answer. Why? Because somebody told you about that person. Learn to give people a chance in your life. That is, if you really want to. So in the example of the three friends, as I said, if we are three and this is me, and somehow you like this one, do not allow yourself to be in that way of, okay, I want to meet her alone, I want to see what type of person she is. Allow yourself, give yourself time to say, every time you are three, you will then listen to, because a person exposes who they are as they talk. It makes sense, né? They, as you talk to them, as they act, you see how a person carries themselves, you see how they talk, you hear the topics that they talk, and that will determine if that is the person that you want to be a friend of. So you don't necessarily have to just go and say, it's like you are snooping if you do that, and now it becomes a problem for the person in the middle, the common denominator in your relationship. So number one, as I said, do not conclude about people because of what you heard about them. Two, do not inherit other people's enemies, because it is lack of enlightenment if you allow yourself to hate because they said so, to hate because you heard them say so. You lack enlightenment, you lack education, you lack what they call social intelligence. So it you might, other people would say, um, don't use your children as a weapon of war between the two people, which for me, and I'm going to ask you to comment down below if you understand it, because I have tried to think it through. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, or maybe it does make sense, I just don't understand it. Because if a person says don't use your children as a weapon of war, it means I should allow. Now I'm choosing another example. I'm digressing from the example of friends and saying you and I are enemies. What are the chances of you liking my children? Really, 100%. Although it's a little bit tricky when it comes to family, because families are families and people do have fallouts. So if it's siblings and they're having fallouts, maybe you would find it difficult to stop your child to go to visit your brother, which the brother's children are your child's cousins. So it becomes a little bit tricky. However, as I say, I need to be enlightened as well on that to say, how then do we maneuver around that one? Because for me, I feel like character assassination will come into play, because as I said, it can happen in church, it can happen in the family, it can happen at work, it can happen anywhere. So assassinating somebody's character, if somebody doesn't like you but they take your child to the movies, or they invite your child to come for a sleepover, what are the chances of them saying, hey, you know your mom, hating the child? I don't like stressed children, so I think it would be fair to avoid. So in the case of families, maybe you are not doing the help me hate, the employees story that I told you about earlier. You are not helping, you are just saying, I'm protecting my kid from being exposed, I'm protecting my loved one from being exposed to this. But please comment down below and tell me what you think. That was point number 3. And number 4, do not gang up with others. No, that was number 2, sorry. 2. So number 3, don't gang up with others to hate someone. Do not join the majority to hate someone. You may realize that the person has no offense. Say you helping me to hate someone, and then 2 years down the line, or maybe 12 months down the line, me and that person are talking again. What are you gonna do? So the best thing that you want to do, remove yourself from unnecessary situations. Walk away, excuse yourself. If I say to you, because I've been in a situation, I have, by the way, been in a situation where I met somebody through a friend. So same thing, the common denominator is a friend in particular. And one day I was surprised, very surprised, to hear the other friend calling me, And we're talking and we basically going just round in circle. We don't have things to talk about. Guess what? A few months later, the common denominator friend says, hey, so and so said you guys were planning a trip, or she's intending to come visit you. I'm like, no, there's no trip, there's no visiting each other. This is actually a surprise. How did she get to tell you that? Do you realize that this could be a person who was envying my friendship with the friend? Oh, I don't know if it's envy. I don't know what it is really. I don't know what pushes people to go as far as doing that. But this is just to say, do realize, always be on the alert to say, because yes, she did suggest that she will come and visit, but I turned it down. I simply turned it down. Luckily, we are not in the same province, so it was easy for me to say, oh my god, that time I'm not sure. Anyway, we will talk about it. Talking about it, I know that going from one province to the other is not going to be an overnight plan. You have to talk about it, plan about it, and that planning and talking will give me time to say no, to just come up with a story. So it's things that happen every day, and that is why today I thought, let me talk about this, because now I had to explain myself to my friend, which is now the common denominator between the two of us, and it was an awkward situation. It can get very, very awkward. The fourth and the last one: do not judge people until you know the whole story. Because someone said, beware of the half truth, because you might just get the wrong half. If I want to sell you this cloth and I show you only this part because it looks like it's okay, it's not burnt, it's not torn, what do you know about the other half? So you want to be in a situation where you say, I want to see the whole thing. So if it's a question of hearing a story, you want to say, both of you come here, let us discuss this, let us talk about this. Because earlier I spoke about emotional intelligence. Sorry, social intelligence. Social intelligence is being intelligent, being aware of your surroundings. It's like in a court of law, all judges are given, or I don't know if it's a training. I'm not a specialist, I don't know, but I don't know if it's a training or is it a course that they do, but I'm aware that the judges have the training or the know-how of removing themselves from a situation. So in that case, if a judge has a murder case on the table, remember at that time, there's a victim family, there's a perpetrator families. Both these two people are loved by someone. Even if a person is a rapist or a killer, somebody somewhere loves them because they're family. As a judge, you are in between, in the middle, and a judge will then socially remove themselves from making decisions, an unbiased decision, So it is the way to say, I want to fully judge this case, or whatever the case may be. So the case must be judged without a judge involving themselves into, yeah, but you know what, it's wrong, GBV is wrong, so I'm going with that case. And this is just an unfortunate example, but all I'm trying to say to you is, as a human being, try and remove yourself from unnecessary situations. Excuse yourself, say, not today. So that's what I wanted us to talk about today. And I decided to talk about because a friend, now I had to explain myself to a friend, which is an unfortunate event of having to be, and remember, it didn't happen yesterday and I wanted to talk about it. No, it is a friend that has called me some months ago. I even forgot about it, but only because now she wants to make it a thing that I spoke to her. It's as though we were discussing somebody. So I thought to say, let me teach other people, don't find yourself in that type of situation. Excuse yourself, walk away, lie if you have to, as long if it's a clean lie of saying, I'm not around. So thank you so much today for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please thumbs it up, like and comment down below, and I will see you again in my next video. Ciao.